So, as I'm kind of building out the site and Code of the West and the channel and everything, I kind of wanted to. Well, I thought about might be kind of interesting to showcase some of my friends and the people that I really admire that I think exemplify the code and the Western lifestyle and what I'm trying to do with Code of the West in my own way. And one of those people for sure is Josh Smith of the Montana Knife Company. Josh is somebody that I met while I was working at Black Rifle. Actually, Isaac Ailman Sr. brought him down to my old office in the art department just to make sure that we'd become friends at some point. And Josh and I met, and the first time we talked, I think we talked for over an hour and a half, and we both really needed to do other things, but we just enjoyed talking to each other a lot. And there was a lot of shared common ground between the two of us, even though I'm coming at it from like the more of an illustrator perspective and he's coming at it from a knife making perspective. But the thing that we share is this fascination with craft and trade and, teaching. It was a very cool beginning to a very cool friendship, I think. And before I even knew about his company, Montana Knife Company, I just knew that I liked Josh. And so over the course of that first summer, we were doing a lot of, everybody was kind of involved with Total Archery Challenge, which was happening up in Brighton and kind of Park City area. So Josh and Brandon were actually around quite a bit. And so we got a chance to, kind of hang out more and pick each other's brains. And when I started Code of the West, I actually hadn't even started it yet. I just had drawn a couple of things and put it on my personal Instagram. And kind of out of the blue, Josh asked me what I was doing and what that was about. He and a couple other people, and I told him. And Josh is one of the first people to tell me you should do this. You should keep going. So, in a lot of ways, I owe Josh just for making it this far. But there was he's made a few knives since I met him. A few new models and. The first one that I bought was a Blackfoot. Then I bought a Speed Goat. And there was one that I saw in the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. I actually stopped at Josh's house. He and Jess put me up for a couple of days on my way back from Northern Idaho down to Salt Lake City. And they were just about ready to do their first drop of the Super Cub. And the Super Cub is a drop point hunter. It's a pretty all-purpose knife. Josh has got a lot of videos on the Montana Knife channel just about what the different knives are, what the purposes are. But, in his words, a drop point hunter is kind of like, might not be the best at everything, but it's pretty good at a lot of things. And it's a little bit bigger than the other ones he normally makes. Just felt good in my hand. And I missed the ball. I kept missing the ball every time there'd be a Super Cub drop. So they finally started another drop, and it was actually just this last week. So I had my timer, everything set up, had my shop account set up and everything. So I finally got my Super Cub. I mean, I've been dreaming about this thing for, over a year now. So it would have been December 2021 that we first saw it. So in a way, this is kind of like an unboxing, but it's more of an excuse to just talk about Josh and Montana Knife. So one of the cool things about the way Josh does things is that I got this knife today. It arrived today, maybe an hour ago. The drop was last Thursday. This was in the mail Friday morning. And it used to be, it was just Josh and Jess and the kids basically. And now there's a lot more people that are, helping out. But the fact that this thing is already here 4 days later is crazy. And I almost had to go back to Salt Lake City earlier than I wanted to, but I was like, well, you know what? The damn knife would probably beat me back to Salt Lake City. So I probably should have it set up here, which was a good call. So like I said, their customer service, their shipping, it's outstanding. I have a lot to learn myself about that. But I love the packaging, just the experience of getting one of these things is so fun. When I send things out, I try to do little things if I can, put little notes and stuff in it. But like from the box to like when you open this thing up. So if you've never bought one of these things before, this is new actually. I got a little. Oh, we have a little explainer now, which is kind of cool. Well done, Brandon. I'm all for this. Okay, so it has a little bit of details. And then this is what I'm all about. I love this. I love brown paper bags anyways. There's the sound of it, the texture. They always do this where they always wrap the knife up. And this is the same paracord that they have wrapped around the handle in here. Usually if it's a Speed Goat, but in this case, it's like the solid handle. So it's just more of a, if I got the right one, I ordered an olive drab Super Cub. So it's just so fun. I really enjoy just the experience of this. And so I got my little sticker here. All right, so God, I'm so excited about this. Oh yeah, there it is. Man, look at that. That is a see. I don't have small hands, so it's kind of nice to be able to have a knife that I can actually get a full grip around. These and these sheaths are amazing. But one of the things about the sheaths is that if you don't want to be in the blood brother crew, you got to make sure you don't put your finger right there. If you're going to pull one of these things out, you got to have your finger well away, because these are razor sharp when they come out. Like, they are razor sharp. And there are a number of people who have scars right here, including people like Dana White from the UFC. That's a It's a very exclusive community that you can find yourself in. This is a working knife, and like Josh says, he makes working knives for working people. And I know there's a lot of people out there that you get really into the knife community thing. There's the anti stock removal people, and that's what this is. I mean, so they use a CNC machine, they water jet it, they cut it out, but the shape of the knives is something that Josh spends a lot of time on. He and I have even sat with, on Procreate, adjusting lines and playing around with stuff. And he's got a very, very particular heat treat that he does for all these, and the different knives that have different purposes. I think it was the bear tooth that he took into a vise and cranked down to a 45-degree angle, and it went straight back up. I mean, like, heat treat. I mean, I'm saying this as a person who's a layman, so take it with a grain of salt. Heat treat is just as much as important, if not more so, than the metal itself. Like, if you don't know what you're doing there, you can do a lot of damage. And then I have friends like Nick Bechtel, who has a really amazing hand forge company, and I have knives from him. We have knives upstairs that he hand hammered, not even with a power hammer. Like, he hammered them, which is Josh's background too. Josh is a master bladesmith, and he'll tell you that even though he got that at 19, that he's learned a lot more since then. But all that is poured into what I can, and hopefully this is not an insult to Josh and Brandon, but to me, this is like the Toyota Tacoma of a mass produced knife. Now, mass produced is relative, because they're not like Buck or Benchmade. They don't have a huge factory. Everything's just there in Frenchtown, where Josh lives. So mass produced is relative, but these are not hand forged, individually made. They're mass produced, and I think that for that being the case, these are amazing knives. And and Josh wants these to be heirlooms. He wants them to be passed on. I think it's 51,000 ball bearing steel. I'm sure it probably says right here. Maybe. We got G10 bulletproof handle. Yeah, 52,100 carbon steel, which is a ball bearing tool strength steel. So, this is meant to last for a long, long time. And I've only had my Speed Goat, my Blackfoot, for a couple of years now, but I put a lot of wear and tear on the Speed Goat. And we know people like Cole Kramer who are up there using these knives every day in, places like the Kodiak Islands. So they really hold up. They absolutely do. And that, like I said, the whole stock removal thing versus hand forged. I mean, well, if you want to see what Josh can do hand forged, trust me, he can do it. I've seen him take a billet of steel 3 times and just in front of me basically make magic happen. Ultimately, at the end of the day, these knives are meant to be used and abused. And Josh has done a lot of research and put a lot of time into figuring out what the best shape, and not just shape of blade, but also shape of hands. I mean, like, he's a stickler for detail, which is one of the things that he and I bonded over. Just I never talked to anybody else about the importance of lines and shape and flow. I mean, I guess I should have known better, but it was definitely like a really cool experience to get to know Josh and see how much he cared and thought about these knives. So, I mean, I think this was $325. I mean, it's not a cheap knife, but I mean, you're also supporting an American company, American manufacturing. And Josh is just such a swell dude. He was a lineman before he started MKC, although he did buy the company name MKC when he was 19. His mom convinced him to actually go ahead and do it. So he's had this sitting and waiting for the right time for a couple of decades before he finally met the right person. Thanks, Jess, who encouraged him to actually go for it, and she would help him. And it's just such a cool story. And they're really good people, and they've treated me extremely well over the years. And I'm happy to support not just my friends, but another business that is trying to do what they can to bring positivity and and quality into the world. So my hat's off to them. It is expensive, compared to a buck knife or something you would be getting at Cabela's or, a North 40 or Tractor Supply. But, this, like I said, this is heirloom quality. If you need this thing sharpened, you send it back to Montana Knife Company. I mean, they stand behind it. It's almost like, a Filson. If you're familiar with CC Filson out of Seattle, Washington, you just don't get that kind of customer service and backing, anymore. So it's worth it, I think. They're working on trying to get these in stock all the time, like the Speed Goats and the Blackfoots. The Super Cub was a drop. I'm looking forward to the day when you can just get on the website and just grab one of these. Although there were definitely more this go around. I panicked because I thought I was going to, usually these things will sell out in the first minute, and I think that the olive took a couple days to sell out this time. So they're starting to make numbers now. Now that they got more people and a bigger facility. So excited to see that. It's just such a pleasure to see, people that you care about and that you love just succeed and do well. And that's what it's been like, watching the meteoric rise of Montana Knife Company. So you can't go wrong with one of these, whether it's a Speed Goat, the Blackfoot, mini Speed Goat. They got enough options to definitely make you, I don't know, be out of pocket quite a bit if you wanted to. I got the 3 now. I got the Blackfoot, the Speed Goat, and now I got the Super Cub. And this is the one I've really wanted. So, we'll have to see what the next one is that Josh gets me on. But yeah, I'm super excited. And definitely check out Montana Knife Company. If you look at their apparel, I have done quite a few pieces of art for Montana Knife Company. I would like to also specify, I am not sponsored by Montana Knife Company. That's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I like my friends, I like what they make, and I like supporting them. So, if you do see art that looks like mine on the Montana Knife Company store, it's because I did that. Not everything, like a lot of the really intricate art, like the fast die last, those are to somebody else. I'm like the person that's drawing the knives and doing like the silhouettes and that sort of thing. But yeah, I like Josh, and I like Brandon, I like Jess, all of them. They're great. So I strongly encourage you to check out, Josh's stuff if you're not familiar. And, can't go wrong with Montana Knife Company knife.